Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Humanhood series, brought to you by yours truly, Melanie Peralta and
Casey Riley.
A conversation devoted to humanizing your human experience and making personal development more personal. We have a Scottsdale OG up in the building today. If you are a Phoenix local, Scottsdale local, and you've been in the conscious spiritual community, if you've been in the event space, then you probably have heard of this woman or the amazing, abundant space that she has created and held down for years. I would love to introduce all of you guys to Kseniya.
Yes! Welcome!
Kseniya!
The creatrix of abundant space.
Yes, abundant space creator, facilitator, originator. And so much more than that, but that is a staple that you have brought to this community. And man, you know, Casey was saying right before we started filming is a lot of people, they don't even know you. They just know of your space. Yeah. And truly, your space has transformed so many lives over the years, dude. Like, whoa, what a deep, sacred honor to have brought something to life that has, one, just brought so many people together and truly just been a haven for healing and connection. And I have had so many breakdowns in multiple abundant spaces because you've had multiple locations now. Yeah. And I have connected and met so many amazing people through your space. So we want today to really connect with the woman behind Abundant Space, and we will get into those things. But because so many people know you through the venue, we want people to just really get to know you in this conversation. So can we just hear a little bit of an origin story? Because I met you as this version of yourself, just like a lot of people have met me and Casey as this version of ourselves. But I know you used to be a gangster.
Used to be.
I know you got
spiritual
that,
gangster.
I know you got that dog in you, girl.
Yes, girl. Yes.
So just share with us, well, first of all, where you come from, and just give us a little bit of your backstory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, first, thank you guys so much for having me. It's an honor to be here for sure. And to everyone listening, thank you guys for tuning in. So, man, I guess I'll start at the beginning. I was actually born in Russia.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know that about me, but I was born in St. Petersburg, Russia. So I am an immigrant.
Is that your first language?
That's my first language.
Wow, I would never be able to tell.
I know. It's crazy. A lot of people would just never even know.
Yeah.
So when I was 6, my mom and I immigrated to America. And we actually came through on refugee status. So at the time, it wasn't very common anyone to be leaving the Soviet Union. So it was a really big deal and a huge shift for my mom because she was, you know, a young mom taking not only herself, but now, you know, her 6-year-old daughter.
So just you two?
Just us two.
Wow.
Yeah, and we didn't speak English.
Oh my God.
And my mom had, I think, like $200 on her and, you know, a suitcase of our belongings. So it was really different. You know, we left everything we'd ever known. We left our whole families. So it was a big journey. And honestly, I'm so proud of my mom, first and foremost, you know, for taking that risk and really creating this beautiful life for us out here. And secondly, of myself, you know, for like a whole brand new place, new country, new language. But so that's a really big part of my story, and I guess I'd start there.
Yeah.
So we traveled. We landed in Cleveland, Ohio, and then we went to Omaha, Nebraska, and then from there we came to California. And that's really where I would say I grew up mostly. So we landed there when I was in 5th grade up in the Bay Area.
Hey.
Yes. And that had a big part to do with my growing up. You know, the Bay Area, especially at that time, has its very own culture, very own specific. Yes, girl, you know.
Yes, I know. I'm not even from there, but I was a hyphy queen too, girl.
Yes, hyphy wifey for sure. So that was a really big part of my story growing up as well. And I think growing up in the Bay, it was so fun because where we were at was right in San Jose, which is about 40 minutes south of San Francisco and about 40 minutes north of Santa Cruz. So honestly, like the most fun place to grow up because we could go down to the beach or we could go up to the city.
Yeah.
And so much music, so much culture, so much fun.
Yeah.
And with that being said, you know, a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of nonsense. And so I really got into it like really young. You know, I think I started drinking, doing drugs probably at 12. Yeah, really young.
Yeah,
You know, and I feel like that, unfortunately, that's kind of, at that time it was, I don't know still, but kind of a common thing, you know? And so, and really just like got into it heavy. And looking back, I think I was always searching for like a bigger experience or something more existential or something more, you know, mind opening, and also really searching for that ritual around it and that community around it, but not really knowing where to look. So again, and you know what? It was so fun. It was a blast. You know, I really, like, looking back, I really wouldn't change it, but also just a lot, you know?
Yeah, like a lot of near-death experiences?
Yes, absolutely. 1,000,000%. Yeah, definitely. A lot of situations where, you know, I made it out okay, and it's only by God's will.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
those situations for
Yeah.
sure. So that was like, you know, kind of continued on through growing up and everything else. And then I would say my spiritual journey, and this is not the case for a lot of people, so this is really interesting, but my spiritual journey really began when I got sober. So for me, getting sober, that's 17 years ago now.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so wild.
And when you say sober, you mean like straight edge sober, not just like
sober.
alcohol? Okay.
Everything. No weed, no alcohol, nothing. Not even plant medicine, you know?
Okay.
Nothing, zero things. So the first, you know, year or two, I was just kind of like coming to and being like, what is my life? What is happening? What's going on? And really processing, I think, too, a lot those first few years. You know, I'd had exes that passed away, friends that had passed away, you know, a lot of crazy stuff that happened. So I was really healing. And then once I kind of found my footing in sobriety, I was like, well, what am I really into? Because the life that I'd been living, I wasn't living it anymore. So then I kind of opened my eyes, and what it has always been is spirituality, and really that deep searching for self and for higher self and for, you know, that my higher power and everything around that. So once I got sober and found my footing, I was like, okay, let's do this. So that was about, you know, 15 years ago now that I really, really delved into spirituality in a big way. And so it all unfolded from there. But yeah, I would say that the two main parts of my origin story, for sure, immigrating, you know, to the U.S. with my mama, and then yeah, growing up in the Bay, just like so fun, so unique, such an interesting, interesting lifestyle. Yeah.
That E40 vibe out
Yes,
there.
yes, yeah.
How many? I have a serious question.
Yes.
How many whips did you ghost ride?
So many whips, girl. Too many whips. Yeah. And I mean, we were, you know, we'd always be going out to see 40 and meet everyone. So it was a vibe for sure.
Okay, so at what point did you come to Arizona?
Right. So that's a great question. So I got sober. I was 22 and I was already living in San Diego.
You
so
got
I went
sober at 22?
I got sober
That's
at
how you know you
22.
started early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you heavily addicted or just like loved partying?
Well, that's an interesting question, right?
Yeah.
I would say, you know, because there was a lot of different seasons throughout it. So there was times when I was really in a bad place, and then there was times when I kind of pulled my life together and I was functioning better. But I was an addict for sure.
Okay.
You know, there wasn't, I don't think, for me, because people ask me, like, oh, like maybe you could drink now, or maybe you could, you know, smoke weed here and there, or sit with plant medicine. And for me, it's like, maybe I could, but to me, it's not worth the risk of finding out. You know, it's like, if my life is so beautiful now and I feel so good now, why would I risk potentially, you know, for what, like one night of going out and drinking or smoking weed on the weekends? Like, it's so not a thing. So looking back, you know, I was using probably every day, at least a substance. So I would say it was pretty rough. Yeah. It got to the point where, you know, and I guess everyone's bottom is different too, you know, so it really depends on your definition of. I was still going to school, I was still doing my classes, but I was really putting myself and my own life and then the life of other people around me into severe jeopardy, like on a daily basis, pretty much. So at that point, it's like, you know, not serving for sure. So when I got sober, I was 22. I was already living in San Diego. And I'd been there, gosh, for at least a year or two. And that's where I went to school. So I went to San Diego State. And that's where I met my husband. So we've been together ever since I got sober, actually. 17 years. Yeah. So we've been together a long time. And so we stayed out there for 10 years altogether. And then we moved out to Arizona about almost 9 years ago now. So
what made that?
Yeah,
like,
that's a great
why
question.
Arizona?
Yeah, so that's where my husband's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was down in San Diego working, and I was out there for school, and we hooked up. That's its own crazy story, but I actually ended up getting sober, I think because of him, you know, in a sideways way, I guess. I almost killed us in a car accident. Yes, and then after that, he was like, whoa, like, I don't want anything to do with you. You're nuts.
Oh,
like,
my
I'm
God.
good. We were in Vegas. And so he flew home. And he's like, I gotta go. I was in Vegas by myself. I was like, okay, what is my life? And then on that drive back, I was like, you know what? Like, I could have really hurt him or, you know, myself or whatever else. And I really had some time to think. And when I came back, that's when I got sober.
Wow.
Yeah, and he didn't even want to talk to me for like, gosh, probably like a month or so after that.
How'd you repair that, Kseniya?
Right. Okay. Well, I was really cute, right? I still am.
Yes.
So I had that going for me. So now he hit me up.
He's like, hey, you sober now?
No, he didn't ask that. He was out drinking. So he was like, he hit me up. He was out downtown. And he was like, hey, like, what are you doing or whatever? And I was like, oh, I'm actually out. Like, I'd love to get together. And, you know, I let him know, like, I'm sober. And he was probably like, yeah, okay, whatever. Sure. Yeah. And then I remember we hung out that first night with me being sober. And he goes, wow, you're actually really cool.
You're not crazy.
Like, you're not a crazy bitch.
I'm still lightweight, crazy bitch. But he was like, wow, you're actually really cool. And then from there, I was sober for about 6 months, and then he ended up getting sober.
Wow.
So he's fully sober now, too, and has been for, almost 17 years as well now. Wow. Yeah, so pretty crazy story. But he's from out here, and so after we've both been sober for years, you know, we were talking about starting a family and buying a house and kind of settling down. So Arizona was a really attractive option, A, because affordability, and B, his whole family's out here. So his mom, his dad, my sister-in-law, she's got 5 kids. So all the cousins, it felt really good. So that's when we decided to move out here.
Wow. Okay. So then how long did it take after coming back and settling in? Did you start Abundant Space?
Yeah, babe. Like within 5 months, I think 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. So when I moved out here, I already had the vision for the space. I had the
I
whole
was going to ask you that. Like, had it been buzzing for a little while?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been doing my spiritual work for a while, and I'd been doing it out of our house. So I was like, I don't want to do that. I want space to do my work. And then I really also wanted space to host other facilitators as well. That was important to me. So I had the vision like as soon as we landed. And it's funny because my husband was like showing me different areas, and he's like, how about here? How about here? And the first plaza I landed in was the first plaza he showed me. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then we went and looked at like, 10 other locations. And then I was like, actually, like that first one. And by then a spot had opened up that hadn't been opened when we first looked. So it was kind of perfect timing. And so the crazy thing is, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I opened the space, I didn't know anyone in Arizona. So I had zero community. It was my husband, some of his friends that I casually knew, one of my girlfriends, Jill, that lived out here. And that was like it, right? So I really opened it up like on a prayer, I knew no one, knew no facilitators, knew no attendees. Had no clients of my own, it was really like
ballsy.
Yeah, go into that more. Like, what made you do that?
It's just what I was gonna do. Like I said, I had the vision, and I just knew it's what I needed. I knew it's what this place needed. And for me, it was just like moving forward through it. And it's so funny because never in my mind did I even think like, what if no one comes? Or what if it fails? Or what if like, you know, I can't find any facilitators? Like, I think it was so fated to be that it was just like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. And I'm just going to make it happen.
I know that feeling so near and dear to my heart. That's exactly how I felt when I threw my first women's event. It was like, it was not even a thought in my mind of what if this fails. I'm like, I'm doing this. It's happening.
I have to do this.
Yeah. That's how you know you're being moved by something greater than you. Because at that point, your ego's not involved.
Right.
You're just on the mission.
You're on the mission.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got full chills when you said that, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really true. And that's how it was for me. It's like, I wasn't like, what if I fall on my face? I wasn't like, what if I get this space and no one comes? Like, I was like, I just know I got to do this, and I trusted. And the cool thing was, as I built my business, I built like all my friendships too.
Yeah.
You know, because I knew nobody. So like, as facilitators started coming, as attendees started coming. And it's so funny, Casey, that you say like a lot of people don't know my face now, because when I first opened the space, we didn't even have a lockbox. I was at every single event for the duration, you know, of the event. I think the first year at least, maybe longer. Yeah. And so I was, you know, at every event, at everything, meeting every facilitator, every single attendee that came through the door, giving them a hug. And so I got to build like some of my very, very closest friendships through that journey. So it was really organic the way it happened. I think, you know, the business growing, my own friendships growing is like exactly what I needed as I landed here. And then as my business grew, it really held me in such different ways, right? Because then as it kind of expanded beyond that, I was like, okay, now we have the lockbox. Now people can let themselves in. Now they trust me. I trust them.
Yeah.
Like those connections had been made more, you know? And then as I had my kids 4 years ago, oh my gosh, the space supported me in like a whole different way, because I was able to really step back. And I think there was like months when I wouldn't even come in the space, and there was events happening every day, 3-4 Saturdays and Sundays, you know, like 8 events a weekend, you know, like, and I wasn't even there. I was just at home with my babies in my newborn bubble. And then I had my daughter, and again, I stepped back. So it's been really beautiful the way the space has been able to meet me.
Yeah.
When in those moments when I really needed connections and needed to build my friendships and needed everything so much and needed to be there, I was able to be so. And then when I really needed space and, you know, to focus on my family and myself and my kids, the space was able to support me through that. So it's really like a beautiful testament to how you can build your life to really support you through every stage, and how your business is happy to do that as well. Yeah. As long as it's like a living, breathing, you know, organism in a conversation with you, like, hey, are we doing this? How does this feel? How's it going? So it's been really a journey with the space. And now I think it's fun because I'm coming into a whole new era of it where my kids are a little bit older. My daughter's 2, my son's 4. So I'm kind of like stepping back in a little bit more now. I'm like, okay, they're a little more self-sufficient. I can get back into the community a little bit. So it feels good because it feels like not that initial first there all the time, right? Yeah. And then not that second where I'm not barely there at all. But now I'm like finding a really cool, unique balance with it. Like, okay, I'm here, and then I'm home, and then I'm here, and then I'm home. So
as you're sharing this, because I've been to all the spaces, I'm like piecing the puzzle together. But for the listeners, can you just go back to how long ago did you open the first Abundant space? And can you just describe the location to bring everyone back to what that looked like?
Okay, so the first Abundant space was open over 7 years ago now. And it was like your funky aunt's closet is the best way to describe it. There was like cozy wicker furniture everywhere. There was like all this thrifted stuff everywhere. Lots of thrifted jewelry.
Low ceilings.
Very, just like your funky aunt's closet. You go in there, lots you come out in a new jacket, lots of plants, lots of mirrors leaning against the wall. Funky wallpaper, like a beautiful mural that me and my husband did on that left wall.
Oh, you guys did that?
We did that,
oh my God, I didn't know that.
And then remember that circle shelf right in the center? So we installed that. I had that vision for it. So just really like fun and funky, kind of bohemian in nature.
Pink.
Pink,
Yeah.
pink and teals was kind of the vibe. Really cool. You know, I really loved it. It was like I would go, and again, at that time, I had so much time, right? Because we just moved here. I really didn't have clients. So I was kind of settling in. So I'd like go thrift or like go meet people off Facebook Marketplace in like Avondale just for like a wicker stand or something, you know? Just like on a journey to bring in all these cool pieces and to make it like really fun and funky.
Yeah.
And then as we moved locations, I feel like this was like the elevated sister, maybe.
Yes.
Of the first space with the high ceilings and all the spaciousness. And then I kept it really open. So I feel like the second space, it could feel a little like, you know, not cluttery, but like full sometimes, I would say. This one, I really wanted it like open and spacious. I did build a back divider wall. So that's where I was hosting my sessions. At the first space, I was just hosting them on the day bed, you know, right at the back of the space. So that's where I would do my one-on-ones. So this time I did build a wall. And yeah, I feel like this new location has been able to hold some different events as well, with it having a little bit more space. So that's been really fun. You know, we've done a lot of like dance and a lot of fitness and a lot of bigger events. So it's been its own evolution too, for sure.
Yeah.
And now we're moving again.
Yes.
And we're actually moving into Casa Luna, which so many people know and love that space already. So when Danielle reached out and she was like, you know what, I'm just burnt out. I don't want to do the events anymore. I'm surrendering. I was like, oh my gosh, like my lease is up literally in like a month.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just crazy the way it worked out. So I think my lease is up in March is the last month, and she reached out like a month ago. So it was just like the timing came together so well. And I'd been in negotiations with my current lease to renew, but I was like, you know what? This feels really right. And the thing I'm most excited about is at Casa Luna, I'm going to have my own office for the first time.
Beautiful backspace.
In like 10 years. Yeah. So like my office with a door and a fireplace, my big bookshelf. And I think, you know, that's something that is definitely a call for me to focus more on my work too, as I'm kind of coming back from my maternity leaves and stepping more fully into my work. Because it's one thing to be a steward of the space, and I love, love, love that as my calling. But I also have a lot of big work to bring forth on my own as well that I know I'm here to do. So I feel like with this next move that's coming up here in like a month, definitely calling back to focus more on my work and also to sharing more of my work. So I'm going to set up like a filming space there as well, where I can do videos and share with more people about the sessions and the things that come through for the collective. And then also call more to ceremony as well. So with the expansion that happened at the second location, I think we really focused on like I said, like fitness and dance and more movement, because it had like a full wall of mirrors at our current location, the second location, which is really fun, right? But again, I think with coming into this third location for us now, really back into that deep ceremony.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. So a question I have for you, and what I'm noticing like a theme in your life with abundant space at least, is like really just going for it, just following the initial hit and intuition without overthinking it. Because opening up the first one when you knew nobody, and then it literally ended up being the busiest event space from what I saw. And then taking the leap to upgrading to a much larger space. That's a huge
double
risk,
the space,
double the pay,
rent,
double the rent. And then
almost triple actually. Yeah, it was a big leap of faith too.
But then going from that to scaling, quote unquote, back to a much smaller, more intimate space. Can you just share like how you just have these knowings and trust those hits and go? Because even when I think about it, it's like I can get stuck in my routine and what's working and like wanting to even go bigger. Whereas you just tend to just follow what feels right. Can you share more?
And I think you said it yourself, just not overthinking it. You know, I think
I never got that vibe from you. You're always such a like, you're cool as a cucumber, bro. You've always been that way. I don't think I've ever seen you stressed out.
Thank you.
Not even when you had newborns. Like you were always just
never
chill.
seen her overthink a day.
No.
Do you
Kseniya is the epitome of like cool and chill and like It's fine, guys.
Thank you, hon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I make it work. I'm very adaptable, so I think that's a big thing. And of course, with newborns, there was times when I hadn't slept and I'm frazzled.
Totally.
All of us, right?
Yeah.
Same with my business. There's been days when I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? What's going on? But at the root of it, I think we all have that internal compass of like, this is the right thing and this is the next move. But I think some of us are so disconnected from it that it can be easy to overthink it, or easy to talk ourselves out of it, or easy to make the decision everyone thinks you should make, right?
Yes.
And so even like I went through a little bit of that with this transition, because Danielle currently has a whole system in place with members and a weekly membership and weekly classes that are already in place. And I was like, should I just take over the weekly membership, and I can have members already signed on, teachers already teaching, everything already in place. And I fell into it and I was like, if I was talking to a business coach right now, they would be like, you're a fool to not do that. Everything, like the system is in place, it's already going, like scooch right in, right?
Right.
But when I fell into it, I was like, it's just not the right thing for me, And it's like, I thought about it, right? Because I'm like overthinking. I'm like, but it's already there. It's already so easy. I'm like, what if you do eventually want to switch to, a membership model? Like, why wouldn't you have just done it here? But then I felt, and I'm like, it's just not the right thing for me. Like, even though it's easy, even though it's already set up, even though financially it's going, like, it's just not. So I think, trusting those knowings instead of thinking like, yeah, but maybe I should, or maybe, someone would tell me I should, or, we also get so much outside influence, I think, too.
Yeah.
So that can get tricky as well, and kind of a lot of noise, So I think really it just comes back to like trusting yourself and trusting your knowing and following that. And then seeing what happens. Yeah. That's the other thing, is like, I don't know what's going to happen with this next transition, right? But I'm excited to find out, and I'm like curious to find out. So I think it's also having that curiosity of like, ooh, okay, this is the ping. This is what we're doing. Like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not a merging, it's a Casa Luna, no more abundant space.
Yes.
Now this is abundant space.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The right wing.
The right wing. So we're taking over the side.
The OG Casa Luna space.
OG Casa Luna space. And then, and I have some exciting news for you guys. Okay. But first I'll say, so Missy is staying on board. I don't know if you guys have met her. She's an amazing nurse practitioner. She works a lot with women's health, and she's already been in that space. So she's going to be on the left part of the space. And then, and Danielle's still going to be doing her new moon circles and her Reiki business out of the space as needed. And you guys know Cassandra? Yes, so Cassandra is going to be bringing her womb business.
Yeah, we have to get her on.
Okay. She's incredible. We were actually just there this morning.
Oh my
God. She moved.
She came back.
Okay.
She's back. And so we were just at the space this morning, and we showed her the office that we're going to have, and she loved it. So she's going to be moving in. Yeah. Wow. Moving in here in the spring as well to host. She does, for those that don't know, Cassandra's amazing. She does womb steaming as well as deep womb work, both energetically and physically as well. So I think with that aspect of it, and then Missy works a lot with women's health as well. She works with hormones. She works a lot with so much of what the body's going through different menopausal changes and hormonal changes. So I think it's going to be like a real sanctuary, like a real space
a women's
healing.
sanctuary. Yeah,
I'm feeling that. And it's funny because so many of our clients are already women. I would say 80% probably of the people through the doors. Yeah. So I feel like this is natural, but of course we'll also still love to have all the men folk that want to come for the classes and come experience healing. So so it's Danielle was really done with doing the events, and then I love doing the events, and we were like, okay, well, this feels seamless.
Perfect fit.
Yeah.
That's so exciting, Kseniya.
I know. I'm super excited about it, and we have some cool things that we have planned. Like I want to build an outdoor space there as well, and me and Missy are working on like a little shop for it too, because there's that whole left area with the windows and everything. So we're gonna get the fountain up and running there again. Nice. Yeah, so we have a lot of really beautiful plans, just to get it so well loved and well taken care of. And I'm envisioning people like before and after events, like chilling in the courtyard.
I always do that when I host there. We all just sit outside and soak up the sun.
charming. It's a very charming space.
Really is. It's got so much character.
So much.
And so I'm going to put some outdoor seating for that same purpose. You know, maybe have some teas and like infused waters available. So people, because one of the teachers that teaches at the current location, she was saying, she came to tour the space and she was like, oh, what I love is that like we can stay and hang out afterwards. Because at the current space, for those that don't know, is just in like a big corporate plaza. Yeah, it's just right there. There's not really like, you could sit on the little bench, you know, but it's not really.
It's not the vibe.
It's not the vibe. So this feels like its own retreat center in the way that that you can stay, you can come early, hang out, journal, you can stay late, chat with friends. So I think we're going to be really leaning into that aspect of it too, with like curating the outdoor space to be able to provide more, you know, more things like that.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question when it comes to the community aspect of things, because obviously you've been in this for a long time. Like I said, in my opinion, you're like very much an OG in the spiritual conscious community as far as like spaces and facilitation and stuff like that goes here in Scottsdale. And with that, you have had so many people come through the space. And when it comes to a venue, especially a venue that holds sacred space, it can get really tricky with energies and personalities. And I've seen other spaces crumble through conflict and, you know, just like it was great for a while and then it got real weird and then everyone stopped going, or like, you know, throughout the years, I've just seen a lot of venues not survive, or there be drama attached to it and things like that. And I do remember early on, there was like some people stealing from the space and just little things like that. But for the most part, I feel like you have done a really great job at and it doesn't even seem like you've done it from a controlling place. It's just been like an energy thing. It's just been like a vibe, like this unspoken prayer of protection over the space. What would you say to people out there who are wanting to create a safe, sacred space? And really, sometimes people have trauma, or like, I mean, not trauma, they have like wounds around relationships and connection, and they don't realize that they're calling in the wrong personalities, but you have managed to just be so magnetic to the right people in the right ways with such pure intentions. And again, I'm sure there have been some sour apples throughout the years. That's inevitable. But for the light to constantly outshine any of that, to where the reputation of abundant space has remained so high for all these years, what has that process been like?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. And I think that comes with like tending to the space, right? Like I have an altar at the space. I work with my altar all the time. You said unspoken prayers, but those prayers are spoken on my end. You know, people might not hear them, but I'm always sending out prayers of protection, prayers that we're attracting the right people, that the healing is occurring for those people. So, you know, that's, I think energetically, I'm working with the space in all of those ways. And, you know, I'm a shamanic practitioner. So those are my realms, you know. Yeah. I think definitely that's all happening behind the scenes. And I think also with really just me being in integrity, you know, I think really attracts the people that are integrity as well, because that's a huge piece. It's like, if you're out of integrity and if you're speaking poorly about facilitators, or if you have drama in your personal life, or if there's different things going on and you're bringing that to the space, that's going to reflect, you know, that's going to reflect. And even the ways that you deal with drama when it comes up, you know, that is also going to reflect on the space as well. Totally. I know you mentioned, it's so funny, I hadn't thought of that in so long, back at the OG location. There was an event and someone was looking to purchase, it was like a rug, or it was like, it was a tapestry. And the thing was, it wasn't even my tapestry. It was a woman that had all these beautiful things on consignment there. And it was like made from vintage Indian sari fabrics, this beautiful, beautiful tapestry. And someone had asked about the price of it. And I was like, oh, it's so-and-so, you know, and I let them know. And then when I came back to clean up, this was still in the era where I was like at every single event. Yeah. And so I was cleaning up and I noticed it was gone. And I was like, okay. So I asked the facilitator, I was like, hey, do you know who that person was? And they were like, oh yeah, they signed up. I have their phone number, you know? And so I called that person. Yeah, I just called them and I was like, hey, I know you were looking at that tapestry and I just wanted to let you know I just can't find it. Maybe you misplaced it somewhere. Could you take a look? And I also let them know, like, hey, this isn't even my tapestry. This is an artist that hand makes these. You know, it takes her hours of work. And then she sells them. So, you know, 70% of that price I have to send to her. It's not even mine to give if you take it.
Yeah.
And so the person was like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know where it is or whatever. I was like, okay, you know, just look around. I'll look around as well, etc. Then I called them again.
Just look around. She's like, I don't know where it is.
Well, this honestly, it was kind of a situation like that. So I called them back. I was like, I really can't find it. You know, maybe
I need you to look in your car.
Right. And so, and that point, she had put her partner on. And so I was like, hey, you know, again, explain the situation to him. And he's like, okay, well, let me look. And he goes, oh, you know what? Yes, here it is. It's rolled up in a yoga mat. We must have rolled it up with our yoga mat. And I was like, okay, well, can you bring that back?
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you found it.
Right. And it was so funny because the way they brought it back rolled up in some yoga mat. I don't know what the thinking was. Like, okay, well, if you found it in a yoga mat, I don't need your yoga mat.
Bring it back like that? Yeah.
They were really selling it.
They were.
Yeah.
And so, but it was so funny because, you know, it's like I said, you know how I grew up. It's like, I'm not messing around. Like, yes, I'm kind, but like, also, if you took off with something, I'll find your number. I'll hit you up. I'll be like, hey, what's good? You know, where's my shit at? Last I heard, you had it. So.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not too many situations that come out where I have to, you know, be proactive in that way.
Totally.
But at the same time, I'm not scared to. You know, like, believe I am not scared. If there's something that's missing, I'll ask. You know, I'll say, hey, what's the deal? What's the situation?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to things that, you know, that wasn't my piece. That was a piece someone had spent so much time working on. So I wanted to make sure she was reimbursed for that. So, etc. Anyways, it all worked out, but it's so funny that you said that because, I hadn't even thought about that. And what's even funnier for those that don't know is that we do have a little shop in there, but it's like a real trust shop. Like,
it is.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a little sign, pay for the Venmo, pay for the goods.
Yes.
And people come, and if they want something, then they send the funds and they say what it's for. And people always ask me, like, aren't you scared things will come up missing? Or, you know, what happens? And like, for me, if you really need that crystal so bad,
you have to steal it.
That you need to steal it, let's like take it. You know, take it. You know, if you need that sage bundle so bad that you're gonna take, like, it's a gift. You know what I mean? At that point. So for me, it's like, like, I'm almost happy to. You know what I mean? It's like, obviously don't take stuff. But if it gets to the point where it's like it's so desperate, you know, or someone needs something so bad, then 9 times out of 10, I probably would have given it to them anyways, is the truth of the matter, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, having the shop has been really cool because we've been able to showcase like a lot of local makers, a lot of jewelry makers, herbal tincture makers, all kinds of cool products as well. So
we'll need to get some of our merch in your new shop.
I would love to.
Yeah.
If it lasts, okay, you guys, it's going to be sold out, so you better order it now.
Yes. Get it now. Get it now when it's available.
But I want to stay on this conversation. I love that you brought this up and that we're talking about this because I have rented a lot of different venues and I'm always drawn to abundant space. It just feels good in there. It feels abundant. I feel great bringing people in there. And I think that it really has to do with the person behind it and who's like hosting that space. Right. And so I'm curious how you came up with the name Abundant Space because that's what I feel.
It is that.
It's expansive. It's abundant. It's generous. You're so generous. Like whenever I've asked for like little things, can I come in the day before and just like do some quirky little things? You're like, whatever you need, like the space is yours. You're so loving with it.
Oh,
And that
thank you,
means
honey.
so much as a practitioner who rents spaces. So how did you come up with the name?
Yeah, so the name, it was download, same thing, you know, it's like me and my hubby, we were kind of going through names. We were like, what about this? What about this? And I can't even remember if it was him or I, but one of us said abundant space, and we were like, that's the one. And as soon as it was said, it just landed in, and it, honestly, all the things you said, like also for me, you know, and abundant, not just in the way of money, but abundant in community, abundant in healing, abundant in graciousness, you know, like all of the things. So yeah, it's just, it dropped in and it never dropped out.
Yeah. You literally took the words out of my mouth, because when you were explaining, you know, just how you operated with the people who took things, and you're like, well, if you need it that bad, then take it. The thing that was coming up to my mind, which you said was just your generosity. Girl, I have seen you gift that space to so many people for so many special occasions. And that can be really challenging for business owners to do. Right. And I actually had an experience recently where someone had said the phrase to me, this isn't about your friendship with this person. This is business. And I've never felt that energy within your space. And my response to that was, yes, it is business, but beyond business, this is sisterhood. Yes. And this is community. Yeah. And no matter what the situation is, even if it is in business, we operate with love, care, and intention and consideration. Yes. And so I think you've done such a great job at having such deep sacred personal relationships with people who you are in business with, and that's a very tricky line. How have you maintained that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And thank you so much for saying that as well, because honestly, like anytime one of my girlfriends need a spot for a baby shower, you're like, or a birthday,
it's yours.
Yeah, no charge ever, you know, because it's like for me to be able to give is such a gift in that way. And also not just for friends, but for fundraisers, for, you know, all kinds of things. Like yesterday we had a gal had reached out to me, and she had a serious heart condition when she was born. And so she wanted to raise funds for the American Heart Association. And a lot of people don't know this, but one of my nieces was also born with heart failure, and she had open heart surgery twice by the time she was like 2. So yeah, so it's been a big part of my story as well. And so she's like, yeah, we'll need, you know, however many hours, whatever else. I was like, don't even worry about it. Like, I am just happy to cover that and to give back in whatever way I can. And I think that's part of tending to the space as well. You know, it's like, I want the space to be useful and to feel useful and to be able to be used for good and for joy and for celebration and for raising funds, you know? So anytime anyone ever, you know, another time one of my girlfriends, Erin, one of her friends is going through just a really hard time, and she's like, I want to do a fundraiser for her and like raise funds. It's like, of course, like, please, you know. And I don't advertise that. I don't, you know, share that on my website or whatever, but it's like whenever anyone reaches out and it's something that I feel like would bring such good about, like, I'm always, if I have it, happy to share that space in that way. And you know what you said, like that business versus, you know, friendships. And I'm really with you on that. Like when you said that, someone said that to you, like my heart just like closed off, right? Because it's like, sure, it's business, but it's so much more than that. Yeah. Like I built so many of my closest friendships. Like I built so many of my, just like so many beautiful things that have come from it. So I would never treat it as just a business, you know, like, yes, that's my business and has been able to support me beautifully, but it's so much more than that as well. It's a space for people to heal. It's a space for people to gather. It's a space for people to meet, to celebrate, to rejoice, to grieve, to, you know.
I've had some serious grieving moments in abundant space, man, for real.
So it's, I think with the nature of our business, it's never just business for me. You know?
But can we also touch on that a little bit? Because has that ever like gotten tricky? Has anyone ever taken advantage of your generosity?
That's a great question.
Or for me, like the way that I show my love to people is by renting their space. I will not ask you because I want to pay you. Right. I want to give that to you. And even with Desi, she sponsors this space for us for our weekly recording. But when it came to our live podcast, I was like, you are not sponsoring that. We are paying you. It's our time to pay you. Yeah. And so that's something that I really lean into, is like being very mindful of how much I ask and when. And if I do, it's because I really am like humbling myself and asking for this. So have you ever run into anything where people have taken advantage of your generosity or have felt that?
That is such a great question. And the funny thing is that 9 times out of 10, they're not asking. They're just saying, hey, I'd love to rent the space for this or this. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, no, like, please, it's my gift, you know? So I can't ever think of a time when someone's come expecting anything, you know? Like there hasn't been a time when it's ever been, even Erin, you know, she was expecting to pay, or this girl with the Heart Association yesterday, she was expecting to pay in full. It's like, so it's never someone, I think, expecting it. It's always just like, if it feels right, like I'm just happy to, you know?
Yeah.
And same with friendships too. Like I can't ever imagine any of my girlfriends expecting that.
Yeah.
But if they ever ask, or if it's ever a conversation, like I'm always happy to offer, you know? But I think that's an important conversation, right? Because you also don't want to get taken advantage of, or be a doormat, or be, you know, where it's every other week someone wants something from you in that way. So again, I think, you know, I don't think people see me in that way, again, maybe because of my upbringing, right? Like I just don't carry myself in that matter of like, you know, I'm going to take advantage of you. But again, you never know, you know.
That's what was coming up for me when you asked that. I'm like, there's just something about your energetic tone that it's just
like respect.
Yeah, it's like
spiritual gangster respect.
Yeah, but you don't even present that way. But there's just something about your energetic tone and the way that you carry yourself. You're very soft and feminine and loving, and you're super real. You're very grounded, and you have a very solid, stable energy. And I know that is felt from people. So I think it's just like, we're all very energetically in tune, whether we realize it or not. So it's like, there's just some people that you don't go there with, and I'm one of those motherfuckers too. So I get it. You know, usually people don't. Every now and then you get a froggy motherfucker. But I definitely feel that, and have always felt that within you. So I think that is a very subtle form of protection in a way.
I agree. And again, you know, life's funny. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But I think with something like that, like again, I'm always happy to, if I can provide, like I'm always happy to. And so far I haven't had anyone, you know, take advantage of that, and I hope that doesn't happen. So, and should it, again, it just be that conversation, right? Like I'm not scared to have that conversation.
Totally.
Where's the tapestry?
Where is it? Bring it. Run it back to the business right now.
Okay, I want to dive into this a little bit deeper, because when we talk about that stability and that groundedness in who you are, I know that there's so much that goes into that, and I'm curious, because you have been with your partner for so long. I always love to know more about and just kind of dissect the foundation, the relationship foundation behind the successful, stable people, especially when they're in long-term relationships. I know a lot of people that's like, oh, you don't even know how much this person's wife holds them down. You have no idea how much this person's husband shows up in such a silent way. And it's funny because first of all, I have to say, you broke a lot of paradigms for me. Just from the outside looking in. There was a point in my life where I was like, I have to date somebody in the personal development industry. Ideally, I want to be with somebody who's a coach or a leader, a facilitator of some sort. I want us to be in this world together. I want us to live this life and be in community together. And I was very, very like devoted to that. I was like, this is my desire. This is what I'm calling in. And I wanted my partner to be very active in my world and come to my events and be with my community and stuff like that. I didn't want, quote unquote, this so much separateness. And then I noticed within your partnership, your partner, I mean, I didn't really start seeing your husband until your kids were born. And then I didn't even know you were in a long-term relationship for so long. And in my mind, I'm like, you would think that Kseniya's partner would be more involved in all of her work. but he's not. And they seem really fine with that. She seems super fine with that. And on top of that, he seems like he's got his total own shit going on. She seems like this super like spiritual shaman, and then he feels like this like tattoo skater guy. It's just so different. And just seeing how you guys worked and seeing how you were thriving, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I don't need a partner who's in my industry, in my community, and I can still have all the things. And maybe my partner is, for a little while, just like the silent steadiness in the background of everything that I do, and doesn't always need to be by my side for every fucking creation, or you know what I mean? Because you do see dynamics like that. You do see dynamics like that. But even then, it's like, sometimes you see those super, the husbands at every event, and then there's, you find out the real. Yeah, and then it's not what you thought it was, Right. So it's just like, how has your partnership supported this? Because obviously you guys got here together. You guys were together when you started it. You said he was in there helping you build things. Yeah. How has your man played a role in this? Oh, a huge role, babe. Yeah. Honestly, not possible without him. Like, it's so funny because this is a conversation I've had with a lot of my girlfriends, right? The spiritual man versus the not spiritual man. And I'll say right now on record, my husband is the most spiritual man I know. Even without the hats and the feathers and the pants and everything else, he is so grounded. He is so rooted. And he has a beautiful connection to himself, to God. So I think, we get caught up in our heads about what it looks like to be spiritual, what it means like to be spiritual. But for me, yeah, he's probably more spiritual than I am, honestly. I'm not even kidding, but it doesn't look the same way, right? And also, I love that he's not in the same world as I am doing, because I am all air. I'm air and water. I'm very out there, and I'll float off, right? So if he was also floating off with me, we'd just be off untethered, floating off somewhere together, right? So he very much holds our family down. He very much brings a whole different perspective to things, a different lens that sometimes I don't consider. Also, like, a very grounded presence, right? Like, even this, when was it, yesterday, we were at Casa Luna, and he's like looking at the closet, and he's like, oh yeah, I got to put the screw in here, so he's already thinking about different things and different improvements. And he's also very artistic in nature. He's a tattoo artist. So yeah, for those that don't know him, he's like fully tattooed head to toe, skater guy, definitely to the 10. Such a vibe. Such a vibe. And yeah, definitely my vibe for sure. And he's very creative as well, right? So with that artistry and with him being an artist, watching his process is always very cool. And his eye for things is very cool. And like his eye for design even is very cool. So as I'm putting the space together, I very much value his opinion and his, both his physical help, right? And also like his energetic and his visual help with things as well. So he's been huge part of the space. Also just an incredible partner, period. And it's so crazy because if you would have met us, 18 years ago, like, we were two different people, right? And I feel like so many people connect at that space when they're young. Yeah. But then as they grow down their own paths, like one person's developing in this way, the other person's still stuck here maybe, or this person's headed this way and this person's in an opposite. And I feel like through all our growth and through all of our development, we've like been able to grow together, which is really beautiful. And I think sobriety is a really, really big part of that, both within our relationship together, because we always know what's going on. We're never in an altered state. So it's like, even if we argue or even if there's a disagreement or whatever else, it never gets escalated beyond what it is, because there's not substances involved. Yeah. We're also never like disassociating with substances. So we're not present in that way. So I think sobriety has a huge part to do with why our relationship has worked so well these past 17 years. Wow, 17 years. 17 years, yeah, that's crazy, right? Yeah. And also I think we've allowed it to grow naturally, right? Like how our relationship is today is
very different in some ways than how it was when we were single in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've grown in very like organic ways with each other, and also individually as humans, to land in a place that feels really good.
Yeah.
And honestly, the way he's been able to show up for the kids has been so cool, because he's just super present as a dad, very, very involved, very hands-on. So my son's 4, and we've never had any babysitters or daycare or a nanny or anything like that. It's just been him and I doing it. So he's very, very hands-on.
Yeah.
And that's been very healing for me, because growing up, my dad was in Russia. You know, my parents
Right.
separated when I was young, and it was just me and my mom. So, you know, growing up, it's like I didn't have that connection. I didn't have that person. So watching him with my son, and especially with my daughter, it's really healing, I think, on a lot of levels for me as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as she continues to get older and, you know, to that stage of 6 and 7 and 8 and onwards, is going to be even more healing, hopefully,
Yeah.
to watch them together. So he's just been like the biggest blessing. And it's so funny because, you know, those memes when people say, like, you wouldn't think, if you look at me, you wouldn't think that, whatever, I'm this or this or this or this, right? Like that. I like Barry, hyphy music. My husband's a tattoo artist, or all these things. But I think we're such multifaceted beings,
Totally.
right?
Totally.
And all of us, not just me, not just you, not like everyone has so many different sides and facets and pieces to them. So I think, especially in the spiritual world, it's such a reminder that it doesn't have to look a certain way for it to feel good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think, so giving yourself permission for whatever that might mean for you.
Totally.
You know, for someone, a partner in the spiritual realm might be the best fit ever, and they're aligned and it's on the same page. Amazing. And for someone else, maybe in a totally different field, is even better. You never know, right? So I think everyone's journey is so different.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm really grateful, because he keeps me grounded, he keeps me rooted.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, we'll see what continues to unfold, but it's been a really, really beautiful journey together. Yeah.
So you guys had kids later in your
Way
relationship.
later.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in that boat. So Brian and I have been together 15 years in March. Yeah. And he's like not involved either. Like he came to our very first event, the live podcast, and he was like, these
He was so great.
He's like, these people are interested. I'm like, yeah, we are.
Yes, we are.
But you guys seem to have kids at like what, the 13-year mark? So how did that feel? Did you guys just like innately know? Like you have lived so many years just you two. How did it feel like choosing to switch up your family like that?
I think that's such a great question. And honestly, I am so happy that we waited to have a family, for my own development and maturity, you know, because like I was getting sober, I was healing, I was working on myself, I was going through so much. And B, because we really got to enjoy our time together.
Yeah.
Too. We got to travel, we got to sleep in, we got to do all of the things as a couple.
Yeah.
So then when we were ready to have kids, we're fully in on the kids. You know, we don't feel like our kids are holding us back from anything.
Right.
We don't wish we were still out. We don't wish we could travel. We don't wish this or that or the third, because we did all that. We had time, we had space, we had resources to do all the things that we really wanted to do. So now we're able to really be present with the kids
And
fully.
enjoy it.
And really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was sharing with one of my girlfriends yesterday that I've only ever missed like 2 nights away from putting Theo down for bed.
Wow.
And it's not because I feel guilty, or it's not because I don't think someone else can do it. I want to. I want to be there, you know? Like, we're so excited about it and so in it now. But I can also see the flip side of that, right? Where if you didn't have that time together as a couple, and if you didn't have that time together for yourself, right? Where it'd be different, where you might feel like, man, like all my friends are out. Like, I wish I could be out. Or like, what? She's in Bali? Like, I wish I could be in Bali, you know? So I think like for us, it was a really good decision. And also, when we moved out here, it was part of the reason for moving out here as well. So we definitely wanted to start a family eventually. And like I said, Zach's family is out here too, so we wanted some family around for that. And we kind of went some years, and it's so funny because we haven't been on birth control like years. But once we set that intention and we were like, okay, because what finally got us thinking is we had a friend and she was trying to conceive, but she was really struggling. And so it was taking like years. And I was like, okay, what if we've always kind of taken this for granted, you know, like what if we decide we do want kids and then all of a sudden it's not happening, you know? So we were like, okay, well, you know what, let's give it a go. And so we set that intention, and literally the next month I was pregnant.
Of course, Kseniya.
Crazy.
Of course. I'm not surprised.
Well, that was round one. The second round was a total surprise. So my daughter, we were always open to having more kids, but I had no idea I was pregnant. I remember we went up to the Bay Area and I was feeling so unwell, like nauseous, just sick. I'm like, something's up with me. I need to get my blood work done as soon as we get back. I'm not well.
She's like, tired. Not even thinking of pregnancy test.
It's my vitamin D level.
Literally. I was like, something's up. I need to get this checked out. And so I thought maybe, because, you know, whatever is the Bay, I don't know. I thought maybe like the place. And then we got back home and I'm like, no, I'm still unwell. I like booked
You weren't late or something? You didn't even think about that?
Think about it.
Oh my God.
It was so not on my radar. I didn't even think about it.
That's her zinc levels.
Literally, that's what I thought. And so, and all of a sudden, what happened was, well, this is TMI a little bit, but my nipples got really sore, really tender, and I was nursing Theo, and I was like, what is going on now? I'm already not feeling great, and now this is like so intense. And so then I Googled, and I was like, nauseous, tired, sore nipples. And it was like, bitch, you're pregnant.
Damn. And how old was Theo at that time?
He was about, so they have a 2-year difference.
Okay.
So he was, about, 13, 14 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you want more?
You know what? I really go back and forth with it.
Yeah, because you have a boy and a girl. I feel like once you have a boy and a girl, you could be done.
I feel like, it's so funny. I thinking back, if we would have started sooner, I would probably have like 10 kids, honestly. I'm not kidding.
You are my spirit animal.
I love being pregnant. I love giving birth. I gave birth unmedicated both times, and it was like...
Was it home birth?
No.
Okay.
No. So we were supposed to birth at a birthing center, but then I had really high blood pressure. So we had to birth in the hospital. But even that was such a surrender and such a perfect situation. It's so funny. I thought for my first birth, I'm like, I'm going to give birth in a tub.
Dude, same.
With flowers.
And it's going to be flowers. And it's so peaceful. I'm just going to moan him out. It's going to be perfect. I gave birth to Theo on all fours, screaming.
She's like, I loved every minute of it.
So
Do it again.
primal. Yeah, not at all what I expected. But births like that.
I'm going to moan him out.
No, dude, I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm going to do the tub. Actually, when I was in labor and we were at a hospital, I had a midwife though. So anyway, I had them fill up the tub for me. I got in it and I was like, no, I don't want to be in here. They went through the whole process to get the tub ready. It takes a little while to get that tub ready.
Yeah, it does.
And as soon as I stepped in it, I immediately wanted to get out. My body was like, I don't want to be in water right now, which is so weird because I'm a whole triple water sign. But I was giving birth to a fire sign, and my body felt like it was on fire, quite literally. I did not want to be in the tub. I didn't do it. I was like, this was my plan, but fuck the plan.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
You gotta go with it.
Dip a toe in, just leave.
No, literally. I didn't even get all the way. I got in and the water was probably like up to, I was like, no.
Not it. But that's how birth is. You never know until you're in it, So looking back, I think we could have had, maybe more kids, but also our family feels really good now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm feeling good, but also
You never. I mean, look at Cassandra.
Right.
Like she never thought she was just gonna randomly get pregnant again and have another baby.
Right.
So, which such a big gap.
Right.
You know. So.
Right.
Anything's possible, but you are coming into this new season. You're gonna have a new office.
Right.
Where you're gonna get to focus on your work.
Right.
So, what can people look forward to from you now?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I guess we'll see. Right.
She's like, I don't even know.
Don't
actually.
Well, it's so funny because I feel like I'm always kind of the last to know when things are happening with me. Like, you know, I'm always getting surprised. I'm not one of those people that has like a 5-year plan with
Same.
work.
Yeah.
Or
What's your
whatever.
sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, me too. We just had birthdays.
Yes,
Happy
we
birthday.
did. Happy birthday,
Yes.
honey. Yeah, so I'm very go with the flow. I'm very like, and some of my biggest opportunities, like when I was on the Real Housewives.
Oh, that's right. I remember
like,
that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I was on total hiatus at the time.
Wait, you were on Real Housewives?
Yeah,
She
yeah.
facilitated breath work for the
Holy
housewives,
cow.
bro.
Oh, I think I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What season?
Salt Lake City.
Okay, Salt Lake
Yeah,
City.
I
That
don't
is
know what season.
hysterical. Oh
Right.
my, I need to go Google that.
Right. So, and it was so funny because in that moment, I was in my like postpartum cocoon. I just had Theo. I was like, nothing like that was on my radar at all. And they reached out and they're like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I feel like I'm always like being shown or always being shown the next thing. But you never know, right? So whatever opportunities come my way, I'm always very grateful. However, I think right now, really just getting back to my sessions, and B, sharing more of what comes through in the sessions, because there's been so much coming through, and not just for the client, but really for the collective at large.
What are your sessions?
That's a great question. So I do 2 things. Well, I do many things, but my main 2 things are breath work, as you know, and then also the shamanic healing.
Okay.
And my favorite is the combination of the 2. So the combination is so powerful because, with the breath work, you get all the physical alchemy, everything that happens with that. But then with the shamanic work, you also get the energetic insight of like, hey, here's what's going on,
I need to come do a session.
Oh my gosh,
with you.
they've been
Yeah.
incredible. And like the insights have been so on point. There's such great clarity that's been coming in for my clients, but also, like I said, not just for them, really for the collective at large. And so the way that so many of my clients have to describe it is it's like those missing puzzle pieces, right? Like you see the picture and you know what's going on, but it's like, oh, now all of that makes sense. And like, oh, now all of that makes sense. And it brings everything together. So definitely focusing on my sessions and definitely sharing more of what's coming through, whether that's online or in some sort of a container. I'm not sure yet, but I know I feel a really big call to share a lot of the wisdom that's been channeling down, because even in my sessions, I get healing out of it, right? Like I'll see things through such a new lens or such a new perspective where it's like, oh, like, wait, how can I apply that to my life? So I know it's not just for my client and it's not just for me. There's a greater purpose to it.
Yeah.
And I think having that office space will be really conducive to bringing that work forth on a greater level as well, reaching more people as a collective. And then, I don't know. From there, I guess, we'll see. I just did a really big event last year with my girlfriend Katie. So that was really fun. Yeah, we had like 100+ women event. So maybe, I don't know. I'm definitely open to events. I'm definitely open to whatever the universe has, in store. So we'll see.
I think this feels complete. Do you have any other questions for Kseniya?
I mean, a million, but we have to end here.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. I mean, I have known you for a few years now, but just very loosely through the space.
Right.
So it feels good to sit down with you and get to know this person who has created a space for me to facilitate hundreds of experiences for people. Like the amount of people who have walked through those doors. I have people flying in from other states.
Wow.
And they are driving to your venue and walking through those doors and having an experience. Like it's crazy, the ripple effect.
It really
Yes.
is.
Yeah. So thank you so much for everything that you are and what you've put into the space. It is so deeply felt. And as someone who rents your space, I appreciate you and what you bring to the community so, so much.
Thank you so much, honey. It's always an honor. Like when I really start thinking about all the healing that transpires and all the connections that are made, it just blows my mind what's possible. It's also possible because of you guys, right? Coming to the space, hosting at the space, having people fly in from other states to be at the space, right? Like it's never just me. It's such a collective weave that we're web that we're weaving that it really takes all of us, I think, to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you were saying that because I'm like, I've actually known you for a while now, and even in this interview, I learned so many things about you that I didn't know.
She's Russian.
Well, no, I did know
I didn't know that.
I did know you were Russian, and I knew it. I didn't know that you came here so young, and I also didn't know that you didn't know anybody when you opened Abundant Space, and I'm just so in awe of who you are, and I love your spirit and I love your energy, and we don't spend a ton of like I don't think we've ever hung out one-on-one. Actually, we're always around people, but every time I'm with you, Kseniya, every time you're around, I feel so loved and just so warm, and your vibe is just always, it's fucking how do you say it? It's real raw homegirl energy. For real. It's like we don't even have to kick it on this one-on-one and time all the time for me to feel like that's my homegirl.
Yeah.
You know? And I appreciate that, because that's not always a thing with people. Sometimes it's like because there's so much distance, then we feel distant. But I never feel like that from you. So just thank you for being who you are. Thank you for sharing yourself with our community and just being such a solid example of what sacred space gets to look like, what an abundant space gets to look like, and how you really are the tone setter for whatever it is that you create. And if you are noticing certain things that are coming into your space, then that definitely is an opportunity for you to look within yourself and see what you're attracting, or maybe not even what you're attracting, but what you're fueling and feeding, or even how you're handling something that it invites an energy in. So thank you again for your time and your presence and your gifts and your creations. How can people find you online?
Yeah, so I'm online at Abundant Space, and also my personal is Your Sacred Channel, www.abundanceSpaceforall.com for all of our events. Also, if you are a facilitator and want to host, reach out. We'd probably love to have you. And yeah, I'm around. I'm active. I'm out here. So definitely, I'll be attending more things. I'll be this upcoming year more in the mix. So come find me.
You heard it here, y'all. Until next time, we love you. Bye.